If you watch Anita Sarkeesian's Damsels in Distress videos, you might, if you are a gamer, think that she and her partner in crime, Jonathan McIntosh, have a screw loose, claiming that video games are somehow sexist when a vast majority of games have no sexism at all. Games like Spy Hunter, Time Pilot, Missile Command, Galaga, Star Wars, Mousetrap, Assault, where you control a super tank, and countless other games where you don't control the actions of a person at all. The deceptive trick that Sarkeesian uses is to cherry-pick a handful of examples that prove her point, and then claim the rest, or a very large majority, are just like the one she picked, which means you're placing all your faith in this con artist if you choose to believe her as authority, when a short time ago she admitted that she knew nothing about video games and didn't even like playing them.
I'm not a fan of video games. I actually had to learn a lot about video games in the process of making this.
Anita Sarkeesian and Jonathan McIntosh are right about video games using damsels, but the plot device has been used to the point of cliché. When Sarkeesian in her video claims she can go on and on listing title after title, she is lying. This is a con, much like someone placing a $100 bill on a stack of ones and saying, this is a stack of $100 bills. On his show, Stephen Colbert asked Anita to name 3 games that objectified women, and she couldn't do it. She acts like she's played hundreds of games and knows about their histories, yet she recently obtained what she knows, and she has a tenuous grasp on it at best. I was reminded of Anita when I was watching Tim Allen's show, Last Man Standing, where his ditzy daughter, Mandy, was supposed to write a college admission essay on someone she admires. An older sister ended up writing an essay on her favorite writer, Naomi Wolf. Tim's character doesn't think that Mandy wrote this essay because Mandy knows books like Anita knows video games. So he challenges Mandy to name her favorite book by this author. Mandy uses the same subterfuge as Anita, saying there are so many of them to pick from, and she's a student of them all. Then Tim's character asks her to name one. Can you name one book, Mandy? Mandy cannot name one book. So he asked her jokingly if she could spell wolf. Things are almost that bad with Sarkeesian. She and her co-writer act like the damsel story is the only tale the game industry knows. Only check the list of games that were released for the Atari 2600, for instance, and you will see dozens and dozens of games that are non-sexual in nature and are mostly 2-player, no more objectionable as Pong. The film frequency writers have found a way of taking virtually a non-existent problem and exaggerating it to near comical absurdity, making it a dire issue when in fact it is a hiccup. In the Double Dragon game, the bad guys do take the girl to start the game going, but that's not how Streets of Rage begins. Games like Streets of Rage are not even on Femme Frequency's radar. If Anita and Joshua cannot find something negative to say, they'll clam up real tight. And where is this mindless Macintosh that is supposedly the brains of the operation? He recently tweeted about the new Star Wars teaser trailer. He proclaimed it matters more than you think about there being a white woman and a black man in the trailer. What a superficial fool. Filling racial and sex quotas is not a prerequisite for telling a meaningful story or designing a profitable video game. The idea of producing art by community is like painting by numbers, but this is probably the kind of art that Femme Frequency likes. Blaze is no damsel in distress. She is a fighter, and she starts the game fighting, and she fights the way all to the end. She might get some help, but she doesn't need it. She can play this game by herself, as a one player, to the end of the game. Blaze makes the sequel. If you have seen Sarkeesian's video, you might remember the cheap trick with Double Dragon, where she shows the opening sequence where the girlfriend is punched and carried off by a gang of thugs on different systems of game consoles. This illustrates a systemic problem, as if the makers of these systems should have changed the opening sequence. Only all systems porting arcade titles try to mirror those games as closely as possible, so I don't know what it does to show that the events of each opening across the systems is the same, Anita. This would be the third game with Blaze, a female character that is in no way a damsel in distress. I have shown you 3 separate individual games that are the continuation of each other. Just like Star Wars Empire Strikes Back is different from Star Wars A New Hope and Star Wars Return of the Jedi. I am not doing what Anita did by showing you the same game over multiple systems.